Welcome to Escape to the Country. Now, the legendary owner of this very modest cottage called it his earthly paradise. But who was he and where are we? Well, stay with us and I'll tell you. On today's show, we're helping a couple who are taking a break from their busy careers find a new home and a whole new business venture in the country. The journey proves to be educational. You said give us something to think about.
Yeah, it certainly is something to think about.
And amusing. And now look up. Well, today we are in Dorset, and this is Clouds Hill Cottage. Now, back in the 1920s, it was standing by a quiet and sleepy country lane. Now, sadly, the road is a little bit busier, but it's significant because it was once home to T.E. Lawrence, better known as Lawrence of Arabia. Now, during the First World War, he had shot to international fame, leading the Arab tribes in revolt against the Turks. But tragically, in 1935, Lawrence was killed in a motorcycle accident just a few miles down the road from here. But when you look around this gorgeous landscape, it's perfectly clear why a man like that would fall in love with Dorset. Now, at £60,000 above the national figure, the headline news is that your average detached property here in Dorset does not come cheap. But of course, the devil is in the detail. There's no doubt those figures are somewhat inflated, thanks to the popularity of coastal hotspots such as Lyme Regis in the west and Sandbanks in the east, one of the most expensive bits of real estate anywhere in the United Kingdom. But as a general rule, well, the further north you go up towards Somerset, the more affordable properties do become. But for today's buyers, well, they can cast their net as far and as wide as they like, because they've got a seven-figure budget and ambitious plans to go with it. When Mark and Michelle bought their five-bedroom 1930s home in Henley 10 years ago, it was virtually a wreck. But Mark, who is quite a handyman, gutted and completely renovated the place. Since they met in 2002, they've been busy with demanding careers. Michelle in telecommunications and Mark in the aviation industry. But recently they decided to put work on hold to look for a new, more balanced way of life in the country.
I mean, we love Henley, so we love the house, we love Henley. What we wanted, though, is somewhere where we could start a business together. And just looking around this area, it's just really difficult to do that, to get the land we're looking for. And, you know, Dorset is very much the area that we've sort of settled on to start looking at and exploring those ideas.
I've got a real relationship with Dorset. I spent a lot of time down there in the forces. I was based at RNES Portland during my time in the Royal Navy, and I miss it. I really missed it. I love the Jurassic Coast. I love the walking, the relaxed feel of it, and the space, really.
They know they want to begin a business together in Dorset, but they're not entirely sure what it will be. And they're hoping the properties we show them might spark some ideas.
I'm really open. I just want something to come along that's going to grab hold of me. I want a property that's, you know, just going to give me an opportunity. Maybe it's got holiday lets currently. I've always had an idea of doing some really high-end luxury, you know, even with their own little swimming pools, make a place for people to come to. But we don't just want to stop there. We'd like to have potential to maybe start a little microbrewery, a vineyard, anything like that. You know, I'm not saying that's going to be, I can make cheese even, you know. I mean, I'm just looking forward to getting my teeth into a new project. It's quite exciting that, you know, we could possibly do something completely different that right now we're sitting here, we don't know about yet.
Aside from building up their new business, there are other things they're looking forward to doing when they move to Dorset.
For me, it's just the fresh air, it's the space, it's something that's really attracting me to it. We've just got a new puppy, Chester, who's 8 months, needs a lot of walking, and just being by the coast, being by the sea, lots of long walks is really what I'd like to do more of.
Yeah, I'm hoping I'm going to do a lot more mountain biking down there, or cross-country mountain biking. I do a lot around here at the moment, but notice the hills are a lot steeper in Dorset than they are around here. That's one problem, so I'll probably get... a
lot fitter.
I hope so, yeah.
But what's the budget for a property with business potential in rural Dorset?
So the budget is up to a maximum of 1.5 million, and then really depending on if it's absolutely perfect, doesn't need any work on it, the 1.5. If actually we would look at something a lot less than that, if it had massive potential and we can use some of the capital to actually do the property up.
Mark and Michelle particularly like Dorchester and the countryside around it, so we're focusing our search within 30 miles of the town. I'm catching up with them by Dorset's scenic coast to learn some more about what they're hoping to find. Hello, Michelle.
Hi.
Hello, Mark. Nice to see you.
I see you.
On a gorgeous Dorset morning. Look at that.
It's fantastic, isn't it? Yeah.
If you want a coastal view, they don't get much better than this one. Horses, sheep, everything, setting the scene for you. For what I think is quite an ambitious move.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, it's we're quite comfortable where we are at the moment, but we're heading to try and challenge ourselves and make a complete move and change of career and look for something completely different.
Well, let's talk about this ambition, and we can't, I suppose, go much further without talking about the budget, which is a very, very handsome £1.5 million. But for all that, you yourselves don't want a massive house, do you?
No, that's it. We don't want... I mean, it's just the two of us and our dog Chester, so we don't need a house to rattle around in. It's really a property with a business, so whether it's an existing business or just, you know, opportunities, outbuilding, some way we can really add some value and we can actually start something together.
So leaving the business element to one side, give us an idea, Michelle, of the sort of property that would suit the pair of you and the dog,
Yeah,
Chester.
the dog, yes. So, I mean, ideally, probably about 4 bedrooms, something like that. Yeah. We got a nice, we sort of like big kitchens, so I do a lot of cooking. So really nice sort of farmhouse type kitchen would be great.
Obviously, the quainter the property is, Dorset's full of beautiful thatched cottages and sea views, obviously. So if some of that was involved, that would be really good. Yeah.
Well, we've got 3 properties which I hope will tempt you, and who knows, maybe one of them could be your new dream home.
That'd be fantastic.
Let's go spend some money, shall we? Come on, then.
Sounds good.
With a very healthy budget of £1.5 million, Mark and Michelle are looking for a 4-bedroom period property with business potential. They're interested in holiday lets, but are very open to suggestions and like the idea of an outbuilding that could provide the foundation from which to create some kind of cottage industry. They'd also like a decent-sized plot to give their dog Chester plenty of room to play in. We've found 3 very different Dorset homes for them to look at, and each of them has business potential. One will be our mystery house, which is such a rare piece of real estate, it's unlikely our buyers will have seen anything of its kind before. Now, you say you've explored Dorset. You've obviously grazed its property market, presumably sort of online. Describe the perfect property for me.
I think something that's quite traditional, got plenty of character, is in the right location, maybe has a pub that's walking distance, fairly close to the coast. It's a watermelon. We want the idea like that. We know. I think we know already that compromises have to be made when you're buying properties. So, you know, you want everything at the start, and you have to rein yourself in.
Well, let's see what you think of property number 1. I'm quite excited about this one.
So am I.
We're beginning our search in Whitchurch Canonicorum, 20 miles west of Dorchester and just a mile from the coast. The village is nestled in the Marshwood Vale, in an area of outstanding natural beauty. It has a pub and a school with a village hall, and its church, known locally as the Cathedral of the Vale, is one of only 2 churches in England to have survived the Reformation, with the shrine and remains of its patron saint intact. Just a few minutes' walk from the church on a quiet road is our first offering. This is property number 1, and I think it really kind of sets the scene in terms of your classic Dorset home.
Definitely. Looks lovely, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's gorgeous, yeah. Fantastic front door.
Beautiful front door. Now, the thing to point out is that that bit is just the owner's accommodation.
OK.
Because this has a huge holiday complex that way. We'll deal with the home bit first, and then we'll deal with the business.
Yep.
And then we'll talk about how much it might cost you. Come on, then. This 4-bedroom Grade 2 listed stone farmhouse dates back to the 16th century and has plenty of period charm. Let's start at this end. Study in there.
OK.
And then this is your principal living room.
OK. It's nice. It's got some good character because of the beams, isn't it? It's quite cosy, isn't it?
It's very cosy,
whether it'd be big enough for us.
I think it feels a little smaller, maybe because of the beam in the middle.
Yeah.
But on the whole, yeah, no, it's very quaint and cosy.
Come and have a look at the kitchen space.
Okay.
Let's look at this.
Ah, this is a really good size, isn't it?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely size.
There's an enormous utility room through there.
OK.
Right.
But this is nicely appointed.
Yeah.
Nice and open plan, as you can see. And it leads out onto the courtyard, which we'll explore a little bit later on. And
Okay.
that's the business end of it.
OK.
Is it your sort of style.
I mean, I like the fact that it's quite open plan, so you've got your sort of open plan area, but you've got a nice sort of kitchen table as well.
Well, let's have a look upstairs quickly at your accommodation, and then we'll deal with the business end of it through there.
Perfect.
Also on the ground floor adjoining the kitchen is a cosy snug that could be converted into a formal dining room. And next to that is another characterful reception room with a beautiful inglenook fireplace. Upstairs there are 4 double bedrooms, one of which has a walk-in wardrobe and an ensuite. There's also a family bathroom. Well, this is perhaps one of the lightest rooms at the moment of the 4 to choose from. This isn't currently the master, but it could be if you wanted it to be, because there is the bathroom next door.
Okay.
Yeah, nice feel to it. I like the scaled ceilings. We have that in our current house, so
Yeah.
it's something we like.
So this really, I suppose, completes the picture for what you get as the owners.
Yes, exactly.
Just about right for us, I think. Yeah.
Good. A few cosmetic changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nothing that a man like you can.
Absolutely, everybody wants to put their own touch
You've done it all before anyway, haven't you?
on. Yes.
I'm not certain the style of the interior is exactly to Mark and Michelle's tastes, but I'm thinking it's probably the business potential that's going to be the main deciding factor for our buyers when it comes to choosing a property. So, I'm interested to hear their reactions to what this place has to offer. So, here we are, the main event.
Okay.
This whole complex contains 8 separate holiday lets.
Okay.
They're currently turning over just under 100,000 a year,
Okay.
Turnover.
of which about 50 is profit.
Okay.
Sure.
They have a lot of return customers, 25%
Return bill.
are returned. So that means that you walk into an existing business with people already booked in.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there's plenty of goodwill there already.
Absolutely, yeah.
The courtyard's nice, isn't it?
The courtyard's
Yeah.
very nice.
So we've got 8 to choose from. Let's have a look at the biggest one, which is that one.
Okay.
These brick and stone holiday cottages are currently operating at a 40% occupancy and were originally the farmhouse stables. Now, it's going to be very interesting to learn how this compares with the market that you're going for.
Yeah, I mean, I think the space seems quite good. I like that wall, the fact you've got that natural part of it. I think we would probably, we would do quite a bit of renovation, I think. It's got that potential, isn't it, which is
It
great.
has, and that's what we've
Yeah.
asked for, so the potential is here, I think.
Yeah. Also included in this holiday let package, in what was originally the farmhouse barn, is a games room and a superb indoor heated pool. Outside, there are more than 2.5 acres of land that includes a pond and a paddock. Well, this is a view we haven't seen before. This is the back of your bit, the owner's accommodation, which in itself is the sort of beautiful property we would happily sell on its own.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's quite a lot with this one. What do we think it's worth then?
Oh,
Difficult.
probably 1.35, something like that.
I think there's a little bit of maintenance work to do here. I'm going to go a bit lower, and I think about 1.25.
Well, as we're in the world of decimals, you're 100 grand apart, but this could be yours for 1.3.
Split either side.
You straddled it nicely.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot to explore with this one. We have kind of skipped across the surface, so why don't you go away and take some time, have a good look around, and I will find you a little bit later on.
Smashing. Thank you.
Okay,
Off
thank
you
you.
go. Enjoy. Under budget at £1.3 million, this period property offers a ready-made holiday let business with 8 cottages that can accommodate up to 36 guests, a games room and an indoor pool. The house itself has 3 reception rooms and 4 bedrooms, and outside there's more than 2.5 acres of land.
Oh, OK, so this...
So, yeah, they're all very, very similar.
Yeah. But again, it's a real blank canvas, though, isn't it? You know, you could easily do a lot with it.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly food for thought here.
Yeah, it's a good first property to see, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Well, when we first arrived, I thought beautiful thatch, Dorset cottage. This has got a lot of potential.
Coming into the main property, got to duck a few times to get through the doors, but yes, sort of good first impressions. A little dark in some of the rooms, so I think you could easily lighten those a little bit.
Plenty of scope. The property size is a really good size for us. I think I'd want to make some sort of personal changes to it.
I think from a business perspective, the fact it's got the 8 holiday lets plus the pool, so I think overall it's a really nice package and certainly a really good start to our search.
Oh, squeaky door. How'd you go?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I think that was quite an impressive start, really.
Yeah.
It's a business all ready to go. It's a beautiful house.
Yeah.
And it's more or less where you want to be.
I think so, yeah.
Have we spent any money yet, though?
Well, we've got 2 more to see yet.
We have indeed.
Lovely.
Dorset has a rich farming heritage, and one of the crops it's known for is the fundamental beer ingredient barley. And demand for this grain isn't set to slow down, thanks to a craft beer revolution that has taken hold of the country. There are now over 800 breweries in Britain, which is more than at any time since the Second World War, with up to 50 independent microbreweries opening up each year. One of those here in Dorset is Sunny Republic, which set up 18 months ago in 2 restored grain drying barns, where they produce more than 12,000 barrels a year. And since brewing is one of the business ideas Mark and Michelle are considering, they're here to meet Brent Smith, the company's founder.
I've been in the industry about 26 years now with my wife Rosie, and we work for the largest breweries in the world, and we just wanted to do something for ourselves at the same time of kind of make the big move from London, because we've got young children, and start something down here in what we think is the most beautiful part of the British Isles.
Beer has been brewed in the UK for centuries, but Brent is one of a new generation of brewers who are challenging conventions by experimenting with new styles and seeking out unusual flavours.
I guess this is where the magic really all starts. There's about 120 beer styles in the world, yet there's only 4 basic ingredients of beer. Barley, hops, water and yeast. And so it's kind of amazing. You can get 120 from 4, really.
So where do you actually get all your ingredients from, then? Do you source them locally, or is it...?
Some of the ingredients are sourced locally. There's only 2 hand maltings left in the United Kingdom, and Warman's just up the road from here is one, and they source the malt from 26 local farms for us.
Malt is germinated barley or other cereal grains that have been dried in a process known as malting. It provides the fermentable sugars that are needed to make beer.
What we've got here is I've got 3 types of malt for you, or malted barley. This is pale malt.
Okay.
It kind of tastes like a Nutri-Grain bar. It's pretty tasty. Malt, if you like, is the soul of beer. It's going to give the beer its body, it's going to give the beer its potential alcohol, and it's going to give the beer its colour as well. And the next one here I've got for you is crystal malt. It's got a little sweetness to it, a biscuity sweetness for you. I kind of think it tastes like the base of a cheesecake.
Yeah, digestive biscuit.
Yeah.
Like a lot of craft beer companies, Brent and his wife Rosie have an on-site bar where they have weekly tasting sessions. As well as promoting their product, the customer feedback they receive helps them refine their recipes and create new ones.
Well, I've got 2 beers for you to try today. I've got the dark, traditional style ale, and we've also got true lager. So they are very different beers.
Ooh.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
I really like that. That's a lot of sort of toffee notes to it.
That's more about the complex layering of malt. So it's got lots of different dark malts in there, where the lager is about refreshing and freshness, and it's more about the hops, really.
God, we could stay here all afternoon.
Yeah, you will.
This is particularly good.
But before our buyers get too comfortable, we need to return to finding them a property with the potential to create a business of their own. Our search takes us further inland to the village of Hazelbury Bryan, 16 miles north of Dorchester. Situated in the peaceful Blackmore Vale, this attractive North Dorset village has some handy amenities, including a farm shop, a pub and a village hall. Just down the road is our second property, which doesn't come with a business but does have 8 acres of land, offering a blank canvas from which Mark and Michelle can create a completely new venture of their own. Now, this is a very different proposition to property number 1. There we showed you an existing business, very much in the mode of what you've been thinking about with the holiday lets and so on.
Yeah.
But maybe, I'm wondering, it was too defined. So with this one, we are trying something a bit different. It's very much about a home with land and potential to go with it.
OK.
But what do we think of that?
Oh, I mean, it looks lovely. So, I mean, it's the fact you've got the combination of the thatch and non-thatch, this part of the house, it looks really, really quaint, doesn't it? Very, very pretty.
Yeah, it's very impressive. From here, it's certainly very impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's take a look inside.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it.
Okay.
This good-looking thatched farmhouse dates back to the 16th century. and incorporates a more recently built weatherboard and tile extension, which is where we're starting the tour. This, I think you will enjoy.
Oh, I like this, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is magnificent. Yeah. Loads of space.
It's open plan, isn't it? But the fact is the kitchen's bigger, but nice area where you can either put a table or sofas and...
Very cosy feel, yeah.
Yeah.
You're feeling outside coming in there.
Yeah.
There's also a very useful utility room through there.
No, it's really nice. Like it, yeah.
It's a good start, isn't it?
It's a good start, don't
It's
you
a very
think?
good start, yeah.
That's why we came in here first.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Come with me.
OK.
Back across the entrance hall to the original part of the property is an appealing family room. The owners are currently sort of moving out.
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
loads of space to appreciate with this one.
Yeah, this is nice. Oh, this is lovely, isn't it?
Isn't it? Bread oven in
Is that
there.
bread oven?
Yeah. Nicely lit.
Yeah.
So you've got this as a very big family room.
Yeah.
And then it goes through to this area, which is much cosier.
Yeah.
More of a snug, I suppose, but still pretty imposing.
Oh, this
Look
is
at that.
lovely as well.
So this would probably be the main lounge.
Yeah. I like the sort of
vaulted
double...
ceiling.
Yeah, exactly. That's really
Yeah.
nice.
In a double height.
I get the feeling this is more exciting than our first property, as it were.
Yeah, I think from a property perspective, definitely. So it just feels a bit more us, I think.
Yeah, more
And,
as us as a home, yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Right, let's have a look upstairs.
OK.
Also downstairs in this older half of the house, there's a double aspect study. Upstairs, there are 2 family bathrooms, one on the first floor and one above in the attic. There are 4 light-filled bedrooms, 3 are doubles, and 1 is a single. Now, this is the one that's currently being used as the master.
OK.
Okay. It does have an ensuite, but it's only the loo and a wash-hand basin.
Oh, OK.
But it is big enough, I suspect, for you to get a shower. In a way, I think many of these rooms are sort of interchangeable.
Yeah.
As to which one you would pick for yourselves.
OK. Well, I mean, again, it's just beautiful to see all the beams and, again, really spacious, really light.
Yeah, there's a really
Yeah.
nice cosy feel to the house, I think.
Good. So that's the main house, more or less.
OK.
But we have got these 8 acres. What's this business going to contain? What's it going to look like? What are you going to do with it all? Let's go and have a look. I'm really pleased they've responded so well to the house. The big question now is whether they can see some business potential in the land outside. What you can see here, double it over that hedge, and that's pretty much your 8 acres. And of course, that is our lovely home.
Yeah.
You said give us something to think about.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
we've
it
done.
certainly is something to think about. I think there's plenty of scope there. There's some outbuildings, so yeah, we'd have to really have a good think
Yeah.
about what
The
what we
outbuildings
could do
are
here.
interesting, but behind there is a huge open Dutch barn.
OK.
Obviously subject to the right planning consents, but the footprint of that might make quite an interesting holiday let proposition in its own right. The question is, how much might that cost you? Because that's going to have a bearing on how much we want to spend on property number 2.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who's going to go first then? Who's going to guess the price?
I'm not going first on this one. Mark can go first on
Okay.
this one.
Oh, I'm finding this one really difficult because it's a lovely, lovely house. I'm going to go probably 950, I think.
I'm going to say 1 million.
This is on the market at £975,000.
Wow, that's not bad.
£1,000.
Yeah.
Now, I don't often get to say this on Escapes of the Country, but that has brought you in under budget by a cool £525,000.
You can do a lot with that.
Could
You
do a
can
fair
do a
bit with
lot
that.
Well, look, go and have an explore, see what you might do with the space, more importantly. Forget about the money for now. Think about the space and what kind of a life you could create here.
Brilliant. OK.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah.
Off you go.
Thanks.
Brilliant. Considerably under budget at £975,000, this beautifully renovated thatched home has a large kitchen diner, 2 reception rooms and 4 bedrooms. It doesn't have an existing business, but with 8 acres and that large Dutch barn, there's masses of potential to create one, and plenty of money left in the budget to do it.
What do you think of this, Sam? I mean, this is a really big barn, isn't it?
I mean, this is massive, isn't
Yeah,
it? And you
yeah.
could really do more or less anything you wanted in here.
Yeah.
It's purpose-made. Really quite impressed with property too. Very different to anything I've ever bought before. Normally buy wrecks and do them up, but this is a lovely home.
The fact that it's got the thatch and the tiled roof, I think, was a really lovely combination. I think the space, we wouldn't feel like we were rattling around. I think it's sort of perfect, perfect size for us.
Straight away, I'm thinking we could do a microbrewery, but we could have a look what potential there was further afield. I would seriously have to think what we could do here.
I mean, the outdoor space, there's loads of it, so I think Mark and I would really have to think about how best to use it. I think there's plenty of opportunity to get some holiday lets. You've certainly got some really good options here.
Well, what a fascinating time we've had.
It's been a very good day.
You wanted lots of options. You wanted us to challenge and test you. We've given you two very different proposals, haven't we?
Yeah.
Most definitely, yes.
But there is one more to come.
Mystery house.
Tomorrow morning.
Can't wait.
It's the second day of our property search, and with a sizable budget of £1.5 million, Mark and Michelle are leaving the town of Henley, Oxfordshire, to set up a home and a brand new business in the Dorset countryside. Still to come, the mystery house gives our buyers' minds a mental workout.
We asked to be challenged, and you're challenging us, I think, in terms of our thinking.
And I discover a brand new scheme where fishermen are protecting the sea and their livelihoods on the Dorset coast. Well, as you can see, we have a glorious start to our final day of property hunting here in Dorset, as we set about the task of trying to find Mark and Michelle a new home for the future and, importantly, some sort of business to go with it. Now, we are well known, of course, for spoiling our buyers with our mystery houses, but on this occasion, it's a real treat for me too, because what I'm about to reveal is a property the like of which I have never had on Escape to the Country before. We're about to show them a Grade 1 listed gem. These are so rare, and to find one on the market, I can't tell you how excited I am. It's one of only 2% of such properties anywhere in the United Kingdom. I can't wait. The final stop on our search takes us half an hour's drive south to Kingston Moorwood, just east of Dorchester, in the heart of Thomas Hardy country. But before we look at house number 3, we're stopping off in the neighbouring village of Stinsford to take in the significance of its 13th century church. Now, of course, Dorset, well known for Hardy, Thomas Hardy, and this was his parish church.
Okay.
But when he died in 1928, his body was buried in Poets' Corner in Westminster Abbey. But his heart, he insisted, was to be buried here.
Oh.
He described this as the most hallowed part of the country.
Yeah.
Are we setting the right kind of scene?
I
Yes,
think
I
so,
think you are.
definitely.
Yeah? Come on then.
Good.
Our mystery house is moments from the church and is set amidst 35 acres of beautiful parkland owned by Kingston Moorwood Agricultural College. With this place, seeing is believing. Right, keep looking down, keep looking down, keep looking down, and now look up.
Are you being serious?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
The whole thing?
The whole thing.
Oh, my Lord.
It's one of the most perfect examples of an E-plan Elizabethan manor, certainly in the region. We're thinking high-end, residential, dare I say it, B&B.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
you haven't really gone for the whole B&B idea,
Yeah.
but it's with a twist.
Yeah.
Because as a destination venue,
Oh, it's amazing, isn't it?
it's
Oh, it is,
astonishing.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. It's certainly a mystery house, that's for sure. Do you know what, Jules? I have not been so excited to go inside a property for such a long, long time.
Yeah?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Come on. Built in the 1590s, this Grade 1 listed manor house was close to being demolished in the early 1960s, but thankfully new owners stepped in and saved the then derelict building with a huge 8-year restoration project.
Oh, my goodness.
Quite a hallway,
Yeah.
as you can see.
It is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Obviously the staircase
Yeah.
is one of them, the door surrounds,
doorway.
all kinds of periods
Look at
going
those
on
door
here.
surrounds.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not door surrounds, they're castle entrances.
Well, let's make use of them. Let's go to this one,
Okay.
into the drawing room.
Oh, this is fantastic, isn't it? It's just amazing.
I love it.
Yeah.
Your eyes just can't take in all the detail. It's incredible.
You remember I mentioned to you this E-plan that the
Yeah.
building
Yeah.
conforms to?
Yeah.
Part of the E goes around that corner there as a wing.
Oh, okay.
This is a house that has genuine wings. Which is terrific.
Yeah.
Well, this is a room that your guests could make use of.
Yeah.
Because that way, there is another room equally as big, equally as beautiful, and that's the library. And it's separated by a very modest kitchen, actually.
Okay.
But you could have the library for yourselves on the ground floor. This could be for your guests. And you could feed them in the dining room through here.
Okay.
Have a look at this.
Crossing back over the central hall, we enter the northern wing, which in Elizabethan times was occupied by the great kitchen.
There.
Do you think this is big enough?
I think it would work, wouldn't it?
This is, oh my lord, look at that. That's lovely.
Again, this E-plan. So,
Yeah.
you know, the room stretches off that way as a little sort of finger. You know, we are moving on from that first property where we had very separate accommodation and self-catering accommodation, obviously to something which is much more involved as far as you're concerned, because you're living with your guests.
We asked to be challenged, and you're challenging us, I think, in terms of our thinking.
You know?
But I can see real potential here.
Well, wait till you see the accommodation upstairs.
Okay.
Have a look at this.
Since the current owners bought the manor in 1998, they've been running it as a 5-star B&B with an annual turnover of £40,000. All of the guest accommodation is upstairs on the first floor off the galleried landing. We're taking a look at the north wing, which is directly above the dining room we've just seen.
This is something of a suite, which is rather nice. So your guests have this lovely little lounge area, tea and coffee and all that sort of stuff. And then through here is the bedroom. Ensuite through that little door.
Okay.
And quite an impressive suite.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Now, this could be your master bedroom, but there are also 2 further rooms upstairs, which occupy the entire top floor. Okay. So you could separate yourselves completely by occupying that top floor, because it also has its own bathroom.
Okay. So we could run that like a self-contained apartment up there for the owners, and then run this as the business.
In the original E-shaped part of this house, the suite we've just seen in the north wing is mirrored on the other side by a second suite the same size. And in an extension built during the 17th century, there are 3 more bedrooms. All of the rooms are doubles with their own ensuite bathrooms, and they have some wonderful original features, including stone mullioned windows and exposed timber beams. Outside, the garden is just over half an acre, which may seem small in relation to such a large house, but it is surrounded by the Agricultural College's expansive parkland, which includes a 5-acre lake.
Garden-wise, this is it.
Okay.
But in terms of something that's manageable and that really sets the building off...
That's a good-sized garden, I think.
I think it is,
I think it's a good-sized garden.
So,
Don't ask.
I'm going to ask you. I'm going to make you tell me.
No.
What is our mystery house on the market for?
I really do not have a clue, but I'm going to go over 2 million for this one, and I'm going to say 2.2.
I'm thinking about 1.8.
1.8. It was on the market for close to 1.8. It's now on the market for 1.25.
No.
1.25 million.
I can't believe that.
And £1 million under my guess.
Yes. Well, go and take some time, explore this wonderful building at your leisure.
Fantastic, thank
Take
you.
as much time as you like. I never usually say that on Escape to the Country, but this is a building that deserves it. It really is a first. A Grade 1 listed gem that's on the market, that's for sale, and that could really give these two the life and the business they've been looking for.
Below budget at £1,250,000, this extraordinary Elizabethan manor house has a ready-made B&B business, with 3 huge reception rooms on the ground floor and 5 ensuite bedrooms on the first. There's also plenty of space on the second floor that could be Mark and Michelle's accommodation, and it has a peaceful parkland setting.
I was just stunned. I just couldn't believe that you'd found something like this for us to see. And I think just Mark and I thought it's a flat, it's an apartment in it, so the fact that it was the whole house, I mean, I was really, really surprised. It was amazing.
Well, I think from the outside it could look quite cold and imposing, but once you get inside it's really quite a nice, cosy house. I mean, some amazing features. I mean, there's, you know, the stonework, the oak beams, the oak floors, the fireplaces. It's just incredible.
Could I see myself living here? I don't know whether I could. It's a fantastic place. It's just so different to what we had in mind before we started. You know, you'd really have to sort of spend some time here and really get to feel whether this is somewhere you could call home as well as a business.
You know, buildings like this are, for me, what escaping to the country is all about. It certainly spoilt me, and I suspect it spoilt you too as well, hasn't it?
Oh, it certainly has. It's been amazing.
But have we sold it?
I think there's a lot of consideration to take into account here. So.
Let's go and consider.
OK.
Fishing has been a way of life for generations of Dorset families. But over the years, the growing decline in fish stocks has put both this age-old local industry and the coastal ecosystem under threat. Finding a way to reconcile the needs of both the environment and the fisheries has long been fraught with conflict and frustration. But in Lyme Bay, a dedicated group is approaching this sensitive issue with a groundbreaking scheme that facilitates dialogue between concerned parties to reach solutions through collaboration rather than confrontation. The organisation is known as the Lyme Bay Working Group, and I'm here to meet its project manager, Neville Copperthwaite.
We've come in more or less as mediators, really. We've developed a model where all the stakeholders, you know, all the fishermen, the conservationists, but also the scientists have got together to manage the area in a better, more sustainable way.
How have you managed to persuade the fishermen here that this scheme is worth getting involved in?
As much as anybody else, they want to be able to fish in the future, and they want their children to be able to fish and their grandchildren. So they've entered into a code of conduct. Basically, it's about gear limitation, about not putting too many pots down, too many nets. So, for instance, they can only fish with 250 pots per boat, only 4,000 yards of net, and numerous other things.
This code of conduct is voluntary and is regulated by the fishermen themselves, which is what makes this project the first of its kind. With input from scientists and conservationists, they manage the waters they fish in a responsible, sustainable way. Another of the group's initiatives is the investment in equipment to be set up on the cob that will ensure the fishermen deliver only premium fish. Quality versus quantity is very much at the core of the organisation's aims.
We would like the fishermen to catch less, but earn more.
Is that really possible, though?
It is possible. What we're doing to achieve that is we're going to install ice-making facilities inside these sheds, so that then the fishermen can get a real good quality product into the shops.
But you're also, as I understand it, marketing Lyme Bay fish as an entity for the first time.
We are, yeah. And this quality underpins that branding. And what will be included in that is traceability and sustainability as well.
Neville and his team have been overwhelmed by the response they've received. After some robust resistance when they first proposed the idea almost 2 years ago, they now have 98% of the bay's fishermen on board. And Alex Jones is one of them.
Do you think this project is going to work, that you might be able to fish less, yet still maintain a decent standard of living in an economically viable business?
Well, this is the plan. We believe we can get up to 30% more on the fish markets for our fish. The fact that if you buy our fish, you know it's probably caught in one of the most sustainable fisheries in the UK.
But for the fishing community here, there must be some optimism.
Yeah, I mean, fishing industry's got to evolve and move forward with the times, and I think this is just one way we can do that. And I don't think any fisherman's going to be unhappy if they're getting more money for their fish. So let's just see if we can get it to work. I think we can.
Already receiving attention from abroad, the innovative scheme instigated here in this quiet Dorset Bay may well provide the blueprint for sustainable fishing all over the world.
Well, it is now decision time for Mark and Michelle, and in his words, we have given them an awful lot to consider, but of course there is one burning question that remains, the £1.5 million question. Have we managed to find them their new dream home? Well, they're just over there. Let's ask them. This has been quite an interesting process for you, and certainly from my point of view, because you gave us such a broad brief, really. Have we managed to refine it any more over the last few days?
I think you brought us some focus, yeah. most definitely. I mean, the 3 properties you've shown us are quite diverse.
I think property number 2, where you had a home plus an opportunity to start something from scratch,
Yeah.
I think it's helped us narrow more into that area rather than an existing holiday letting business that is about just upgrading, because it's had lots of acres. But I think it was more the breathing space it would give us to build a business and not have to get an income from it immediately.
But then with our mystery house, we went for something completely different. An astonishing building.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we can totally see the business side of that. As a home, we're not so sure about, are we?
It's so far removed from how we live today that, you know, you'd really have to spend more time to figure out whether you could actually live there as a home, I think.
Yeah, I think sometimes that sort of size of budget can give you too much choice, and, you know, actually going on this journey of finding out what it actually is you really want is actually taking us longer than we even thought it was going to ourselves.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming down here. We wish you all the very best of luck, and I'm glad that we've brought a little more focus to this great life-changing plan that you're about to undertake. Good luck.
No, thank you very much. It's been fantastic.
It's been great.
Pleasure. Well, the sun is setting on today's show, so where better to finish up than here on one of Dorset's most famous landmarks, the shingle bank of Chesil Beach with Portland Bill in the background. We've had gorgeous houses and a generous budget, but still Mark and Michelle's search for their new dream home continues. Maybe Mark was right. Maybe the more you've got to spend, the harder it is. But when you've got a county like this with views like that, can you really put a price on it? I wonder.
If you'd like to escape to the country in Scotland, Northern Ireland, England, Wales and would like our help, then please apply online at bbc.co.uk/Be On A Show.
Welcome to Escape to the Country. Now, the legendary owner of this very modest cottage called it his earthly paradise. But who was he and where are we? Well, stay with us and I'll tell you.
On today's show, we're helping a couple who are taking a break from their busy careers find a new home and a whole new business venture in the country. The journey proves to be educational.
You said give us something to think about.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
we've
it
done.
certainly is something to think about.
And amusing.
And now look up. Well, today we are in Dorset, and this is Clouds Hill Cottage. Now, back in the 1920s, it was standing by a quiet and sleepy country lane. Now, sadly, the road is a little bit busier, but it's significant because it was once home to T.E. Lawrence, better known as Lawrence of Arabia. Now, during the First World War, he had shot to international fame, leading the Arab tribes in revolt against the Turks. But tragically, in 1935, Lawrence was killed in a motorcycle accident just a few miles down the road from here. But when you look around this gorgeous landscape, it's perfectly clear why a man like that would fall in love with Dorset. Now, at £60,000 above the national figure, the headline news is that your average detached property here in Dorset does not come cheap. But of course, the devil is in the detail. There's no doubt those figures are somewhat inflated, thanks to the popularity of coastal hotspots such as Lyme Regis in the west and Sandbanks in the east, one of the most expensive bits of real estate anywhere in the United Kingdom. But as a general rule, well, the further north you go up towards Somerset, the more affordable properties do become. But for today's buyers, well, they can cast their net as far and as wide as they like, because they've got a 7-figure budget and ambitious plans to go with it.
When Mark and Michelle bought their 5-bedroom 1930s home in Henley 10 years ago, it was virtually a wreck. But Mark, who is quite a handyman, gutted and completely renovated the place. Since they met in 2002, they've been busy with demanding careers. Michelle in telecommunications and Mark in the aviation industry. But recently they decided to put work on hold to look for a new, more balanced way of life in the country.
I mean, we love Henley, so we love the house, we love Henley. What we wanted, though, is somewhere where we could start a business together. And just looking around this area, it's just really difficult to do that, to get the land we're looking for. And, you know, Dorset is very much the area that we've sort of settled on to start looking at and exploring those ideas.
I've got a real relationship with Dorset. I spent a lot of time down there in the forces. I was based at RNES Portland during my time in the Royal Navy, and I miss it. I really missed it. I love the Jurassic Coast. I love the walking, the relaxed feel of it, and the space, really.
They know they want to begin a business together in Dorset, but they're not entirely sure what it will be. And they're hoping the properties we show them might spark some ideas.
I'm really open. I just want something to come along that's going to grab hold of me. I want a property that's, you know, just going to give me an opportunity. Maybe it's got holiday lets currently. I've always had an idea of doing some really high-end luxury, you know, even with their own little swimming pools, make a place for people to come to. But we don't just want to stop there. We'd like to have potential to maybe start a little microbrewery, a vineyard, anything like that. You know, I'm not saying that's going to be, I can make cheese even, you know. I mean, I'm just looking forward to getting my teeth into a new project. It's quite exciting that, you know, we could possibly do something completely different that right now we're sitting here, we don't know about yet.
Aside from building up their new business, there are other things they're looking forward to doing when they move to Dorset.
For me, it's just the fresh air, it's the space, it's something that's really attracting me to it. We've just got a new puppy, Chester, who's 8 months, needs a lot of walking, and just being by the coast, being by the sea, lots of long walks is really what, you know, what I'd like to do more of.
Yeah, I'm hoping I'm going to do a lot more mountain biking.